where I read it, but I read somewhere that if something magical happens to you, you should announce that something magical has happened to you. Actually, now that I think about it, I think that the idea is that if you cast a spell that works, you're supposed to say that the spell worked. I can't remember. Wizard rules, right? I mean, they're so difficult to remember. But there are rules out there for wizards and witches and warlocks. And I think one of the main rules is that we have to be very careful about what we say. Because sometimes, not all the time, sometimes the things that you say actually do come true. And this can happen in big ways, and it can also happen in really small ways. And today happened in a really small way, which is that I was having a meeting and I was talking with someone that I'm working with, and we're just discussing, having dogs around and what it's like to have dogs in an office. And he told me a really sad story, which is that during a meeting, someone's dog had shit on the floor of the office, and they had accidentally rolled their chair backwards into the shit. I guess it happened really quick. The dog did a kind of terrorist style shit right in front of the wheels of the wheelie chair, and they were probably engrossed in like some serious conversation, and the chair went back, and all that pressure and the wheel, and it just smashed all the shit into the wheel and the chair. And he told me he had to throw the chair away. Whatever, it's just a classic like disaster, minor catastrophe story involving dog shit. And that brought to mind something that I've seen on the internet, which you can Google, which is from probably more than, actually, you know what? I'm going to Google it right now. Let me see. It's probably a whole genre by now. Yep, for sure. It's a genre. And the genre is Roombas activating on their own and rolling over dog shit in someone's house. And so this is just a recipe for pure, unbridled horror. When you get home, you programmed your Roomba to clean the house. You get home and the Roomba has done the opposite. It has covered your house with shit. And sure, it would be easy to get into how this represents one of the many technological disruptions that has been predicted as we move towards the singularity. I could point out that this is a very small example of the potential catastrophe that happens when technology intersects and slams into biology. It's not always transhumanism. It's not always CRISPR transforming our cells so that we become stronger, or less fat, or smarter. Sometimes it can go wrong. It can go Brundlefly level wrong. And that's what happens when a Roomba slides over dog shit at your house. So, I just brought it up because we're talking about, I guess, tools that spread shit. Your chair being a tool, Roomba being a tool. And we didn't even get in a conversation about it. But here's the magic part. I'm in the Uber headed home when my wife calls to tell me that the Roomba ran over dog shit. This happened within probably 20 minutes of talking about it at this meeting. And look, I'm a blabbermouth. I'll admit it. It's my job. I talk all the time, and I talk too much. The other night at a party, I gave somebody like an authentic ear beating, like at least an 8-minute ear beating about modular synthesizers. And I couldn't make myself, I was like watching my lips. I was boring myself. Like if my skeleton could have ripped itself out of my own body and run away from the ear beating I was giving this man, it would have. But I was stuck listening to my voice yap about modular synthesizers to somebody who I'm very sorry that I did that to that man. But I very rarely talk about shit smearing Roombas. And this happened within minutes of the conversation. So it reminded me of something that somebody I love a lot, Michael Beckwith, talks about, which is that with every word, we create the universe. With everything you say, you are the universe, the universe is in process. And sometimes, if you're not careful, you can speak things into existence. And I guess you just have to watch out, you know? I get, what am I saying? Am I saying we shouldn't tell stories of Roombas colliding with dog shit? Or that's going to happen to us? I mean, that's some Transylvania level superstitious gypsy crap. Am I saying there's some kind of strange mycelial network of energy that connects all of us, and maybe I somehow like picked up on the horror that my wife must have been feeling, realizing that while she had been outside allowing our robot vacuum cleaner to clean the house, she had become victim to a kind of canine sabotage, a Viet Cong level canine sabotage, which is that the being had figured out a way not just to shit on the floor, but to get that shit distributed throughout the house. Look, I don't know what I'm saying, except maybe we've got to be a little more careful with what we say into the world, what we speak into the world. Maybe the affirmation stuff is dead on, which is why I'm just saying this right now. I'm a billionaire. I have a giant cock. I have ripped abdominal muscles. My teeth are white and healthy. My bald spot last night, it grew hair again, like some blasted swath of pale land in some arid wilderness. Suddenly it sprang to life as though a magical comet had flown over it. And not only that, but you listening, you're about to have the best luck you've ever had in your life. You're going to have a series of such incredible synchronicities after listening to this that it's going to make you feel like your brain is about to pop. It's going to make you feel like you just found out a unicorn got you pregnant. And in that very same moment, you gave a painless birth to a bag of diamonds. We have an astounding episode for you today. The delightful Derrick Beckles is here with us. We're going to jump right into that. But first, some quick business. This episode of the DTFH is brought to you by squarespace.com. Head over to squarespace.com/Duncan for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code DUNCAN to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. I've done a quick scan of some domain names that I think could potentially make a person a lot of money. So here we go. You could be one of the lucky people who buy up this domain name and turn it into a lot of Bitcoin right away. I'm just going to list it. You might want to pull up Squarespace right now and get ready to buy these domain names if they're not already gone. The following domain names are available right now for a smart entrepreneur out there who wants to make a buck. Resalebidet.com is available. That's right. What happens to all those bidets when people move out? What happens to all those used bidets? Drop them in a bucket of bleach, throw them online. Guaranteed there's a bidet in some junkyard right now that was used by Neil deGrasse Tyson. And that's got a high resale value guaranteed. Resalebidet.com. LuxuryBidetRentals.net. BidetXXX.com is available if you want to get weird with some of that bidet porn. You could get that. And of course, if you're a practical man who's not into the weird stuff, or lady, BidetRepair.com. A lot of people are embarrassed when their bidet breaks down. They feel like something's wrong with them, and they're afraid to call a regular plumber. BidetRepair.com. That could be a golden road to you becoming a multi-trillionaire. Finally, I know what you're thinking, is BidetWorld.com available? No, it's not available, but it is on sale for $4,188, which only goes to show you that the bidet.com bubble is still growing, baby. And there's time for you to cash in on those bidet bucks. Do it through squarespace.com. You can build a beautiful website with Squarespace. You can turn your cool idea into a new website. You can showcase your work. You can blog or publish content. And Squarespace lets you do this by giving you beautiful templates created by world-class designers. Everything's optimized for mobile right out of the box. You can buy domains, and you never have to patch or upgrade anything ever. Make it yourself. Create a website by yourself. Make it stand out with a beautiful website. I have a Squarespace website, and I love it. Head over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code Duncan to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Today's episode was also made possible by stamps.com. Friends, we are inches away from an era where 3D printers use nanobots to perfectly assemble anything that you desire. And the good people at stamps.com have brought us one step closer to this day by creating a service that you can use to actually print U.S. postage out at your own house. Think about that. This is a mind-blowing technology. In the old days, if you wanted to mail your manifesto to 700 university professors throughout the United States, you'd have to go buy stamps somewhere. But not anymore. Thanks to stamps.com, you can buy and print real U.S. postage for any letter or any package. All available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just click, print, mail, and you're done. Stamps.com will even send you a digital scale. You can weigh your letters and packages and print the exact amount of postage every time. As someone who loves mailing out manifestos and does it on a bi-weekly basis, I can tell you that there's nothing more frustrating than to have a manifesto returned to you because of improper postage. I've used Stamps.com for mailing precious DTFH posters and stickers and t-shirts. And I had a Stamps.com account, and it never ceased to amaze me that I didn't have to leave my house to print out glorious, powerful stamps. I don't know about you, but if I'm leaving my house, I want it to be because I'm going on a rock climbing expedition, going to the gym, going jogging, or doing some community service work. I don't want my time to be wasted headed someplace to buy stamps. I want to do that online. And Stamps.com has made that possible. Thanks to the people at Stamps.com. Do you know I used to spend over 19 hours a week buying stamps? 19 hours. And now do you know what I do with that time? I run a blood bank for children where I let children store their blood and withdraw blood if they need to. They have blood debit cards, and it's been quite successful. And it's a great thing to teach your kids. I don't mean to smush two advertisements together here, but it's a great way to teach your kid about savings. And what better thing to save than your blood? There's no way I would have had the time or the bandwidth to create a successful blood bank for children if I'd been spending 17 hours buying postage. But thanks to Stamps.com, I've changed LA for the better. Right now, use DTFH for this special offer. You'll get a 4-week trial, which includes postage and a digital scale. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything else, click on the radio microphone at the top of the homepage and type in DTFH. That's Stamps.com. Enter DTFH. Think about your precious human life plopping down the sidewalk to go buy stamps when all you got to do is go to Stamps.com right now, immediately. Don't even take another breath until you've clicked on that radio microphone at the top of the homepage and typed in DTFH. Mail the manifesto. Start the blood bank. Change the world. Thank you, Stamps.com. Friends, if you're tired of sloshing through the opening swamp of my voice and you just want to go straight to the interviews, Or maybe you want more of the swampiness of my voice. Or maybe you just want to dive in deeper into the deep undergut, the underfolds, the underbelly, the pulsating proboscis of the DTFH. Maybe you just want to mainline the DTFH right into the heart of your spine. Well, there's one way for you to do that, and that's go to patreon.com/DTFH and subscribe. For a few ducats a month, you'll have instant access to interviews that don't make it onto the main feed right away. Also, there's music. If you want to hear the modular synth music that I have been slowly torturing my wife with over the last few months, all you got to do is go to patreon.com. You'll find some of it there, along with opening rants not attached to any interviews and just random stuff, including access to the thriving DTFH Discord server. That's patreon.com/DTFH. We also have a shop with stickers and posters. And of course, as always, thank you those of you who still use the archaic Amazon link. It's somewhere over there at duncantrussell.com. Scroll down. If you can find it, that's great. If not, thanks for looking. I love you. And thanks for clicking through Amazon to buy something you hear us talking about on this podcast. Whatever you buy through that link, they give us a small percentage of. Hope you'll pick up something. Do they sell vajankles on Amazon.com? Here's a free advertisement for my friend Chop, who I met recently, who runs a shop called Synthetics. I think they do sell vajankles on Amazon.com. Let me take a quick look here. I'm holding a vajankle right now. It's a combination foot and vagina. I haven't humped it yet. I'm not gonna. I love Chop, but I don't know if this vajankle is a virgin vajankle, and I've got a kid coming, and I don't think it's a good idea to have sex with a vajankle. I don't know who could have copulated with his foot, so I don't want to risk it. But it's kind of good for stress. I keep it around when I'm working. It's nice to squeeze a synthetic, hyper-realistic foot with a vagina at the end of it from time to time when you're feeling overwhelmed. Today's guest is a brilliant artist who has created some amazing stuff, including TV Carnage, which is a beautiful compilation of some of the crazy shit you see on late-night infomercials. He also created Hot Package, and most recently, the genius comedy series, Mostly for Millennials, which is now airing on Adult Swim. I hope you'll check it out. Everybody, please welcome to the Duncan Trussell Family Hour podcast, Derrick Beckles. Derrick, welcome back to the DTFH. Oh shit, goodness. You got to pull that thing
Oh, yeah.
up. Sorry,
I got
man.
it
It's
now.
hard to get used to, and you could spin it around.
I can
and
do
stuff. There,
this.
yeah, you can
Look
do
at
it.
that.
There it is.
There we
Great.
go.
Derrick, welcome back to the DTFH. It's great to see you, man. It's been too long.
It has been too long. Thank you.
Man, I've been checking out your new show, Mostly for Millennials.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
Thank you.
It looks scary to make.
Yeah.
You and Eric,
Yeah.
you guys do the most insanely dangerous man on the street stuff that I've ever seen, times a million. And I saw that you actually got arrested doing one of these. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think it was like our last or to second last day of shooting too. But yeah, man, we love doing man on the street stuff, and we love escalating them, like from just kind of trying to outdo the other bits. And after a while, that just becomes its own math, because you have to. There's so many things that go into it. It's like we want it to come off. We want to like exercise the 13-year-old part of our brain, but we also want to do something that's hopefully just beyond like poopy fart.
Sure.
And sometimes that's just funny, but you know what I mean? Like we want something that's going to like possibly be worthy of repeat viewings, but also be worthy of like doing stupid smart and smart stupidly, So
yeah, it's like you guys walk this crazy tightrope in between what you're saying, which is just like, really basic like fart jokes or whatever, which is absolutely fine. And then on the other side of it is some kind of like deep Russian existentialist theater or something.
Yeah.
And that's a crazy place for those two things to meet.
Yeah, I'm glad you think so. I really am, because it's like when I almost got arrested, is I was doing this bit called basically it was just Save the Planet. So I'm walking around and I have this giant like planet suit that our amazing wardrobe person Ryan made, and so I'm Planet Earth, and I'm walking around, and I'm like handing out pamphlets, but I'm also throwing pamphlets in the air, and I'm littering. It's just like I'm the antithesis of a guy who wants to save the planet. So, and then Flat Earth comes out. Andre Highland's dressed as Flat Earth, and he comes out of nowhere and just attacks me, and we start fighting. And so we got great reactions from the crowd. There's people reacting to like me littering, obviously. There's like, and then when we started fighting and it got really physical, people were like on the hook and screaming things at us and like trying to stop us from fighting. And then I started pouring. I grabbed this like red canister that like you have gasoline in, and I started pouring that down Andre's throat. It was supposed to be motor oil, but we ended up. We just had to use this gas canister, and that was a bridge too far. Like people were like, "Oh my god, this guy's is like pouring gasoline down his throat." And I was doing it as like a Save the Earth guy, and in the original bit too, I was supposed to have a daughter that was actually handing out stuff, and I was like teaching her all the wrong lessons. But anyway, so I'm attacking Andre, and then I just hear like whoop whoop. It's a very distinct noise, and I just feel my arms being wrenched behind my back, and I look up, and it's just a cop with like a "What the fuck are you doing? I'm not in the mood" face.
No, they actually said,
"Yeah,
you guys didn't have to do this."
Yeah,
it's kind of resigned.
Yeah, he's like, you guys didn't have to do this, right? Like,
it's like the street is littered. There's like it's insanity. People are like. Are horrified, or they're angry, or they're scared. But you know what I really like, man?
Well, I'll tell you one thing quickly. Sorry, but the cop said to me, like, he goes, and it's one of those things that occurs to you afterwards. But he goes, when we roll up on somebody and he's pouring gas down somebody's throat, you're just lucky you didn't get shot. It's like, oh yeah. There's that part of the equation, and Eric runs into that too, where like people get very physical and can get very strange. Like I'll tell you about a mall thing we did too that got out of hand.
Tell me now. I'd love to hear it.
There's an upcoming episode where I come out hot, like I'm a choreography for an elderly flash mob. So I got this elderly flash mob. We choreographed a simple little dance for them, but embedded with them is this older dude who's like this like tough as nails, like cartoon character of an old school Irish dude who was like a stuntman with like a broken nose, and he's embedded in the flash mob, and I just come out hot and I'm screaming at them because they don't have their shit together. I'm just like it's like what's that? Like Roy Scheider in whatchamacallit.
Oh,
my brain just.
I know exactly what you're talking about. The fucking what's it like?
All that jazz.
All that jazz.
It's I'm just like a combination between like Roy Scheider and all that jazz and the dude from
wow.
And the dude from Showgirls when he's just like berating people. So I'm just screaming at these elderly people for not having their shit together. And I'm just like, how long have we been practicing? This is a trash mob, not a flash mob. And the old dude's just like, you can't say that to us. And I was like, really? You're out of the group now. And we just start shoving each other, and it's bedlam. We just like start throwing each other through glass.
What?
In the middle of this mall.
Fuck. And there's actually like passerby. There's people.
Oh, it's like in the middle of the mall while people are shopping.
So
it is like bedlam. There's just like 3 levels of the mall of people just screaming and like taking pictures. The interesting thing is like people default now just to like recording things and like documenting them. If they're even I don't even know if they're thinking about. They're just doing it because it's like it's this new reflex we have. So people just tend not to get involved. People were getting involved, but like the majority of people were just like filming. That was their version of getting involved. Like, I've got to stop this. Isn't
that wild? Because I think when you what you're seeing there is like a combination defense mechanism and I don't like using the term. I don't think it's maybe accurate, but it gets thrown around a lot. Late stage capitalism, which is that when violence starts happening, instead of wanting to stop it, you want to figure out a way to commodify it,
right?
Which is to record it and put it on your Instagram.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh shit, violence. That's worth a lot of likes. Let me grab it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's pretty eerie, I bet, to witness that reaction instead of what should just be someone should be like, hey, we're gonna break this up.
Yeah, and there's like a guy who's like, I was gonna start kicking your ass. But
right, and that's
which is what I was expecting. I was like, okay, somebody's gonna start kicking my ass.
What does the war room look like when you're planning this stuff out? When you guys are writing the show, what's the process from like the inception of the idea to like getting permission from the network and insurance? How do you pull that out?
Yeah, that's like, oh Lord. I mean, we basically just like have we agree on the fact that like there's just like there's no stupid ideas, and anything that you do think is a stupid idea, great, say it even louder.
Cool.
Just like,
yeah.
And we even like kind of part of the process for the stuff we all work on is just to actually embrace like the stupidest stuff. Like we like, we actually favor trying to get people's minds to go into like the stupidest direction possible and try and make it. I
had to adjust the mic.
Adjust my mic. I was like at the microphone dentist for a second. But yeah, anyways, it's we celebrate stupidity, and again, like I was saying, it's like we also try to put as much smart or make as much of a statement as possible about certain things. But the process is just like, we know sometimes we're just going to get in shit. It's just kind of like, it's like that. It's that moment where like two kids come up with an idea when their parents are away, and it's like, oh my God, we have to do this. We're going to get in so much shit when mom and dad come home, but we have to do this.
But
like,
doesn't the network interfere? Aren't they? I mean, aren't there lawyers and insurance companies?
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and it's like, and we always have to like negotiate. It's like a bizarre chess game sometimes, and other times you can argue your point, and then sometimes it's just like it's a hard no, and that becomes part of like the corporate structure of networks, where it's just like, we can't do that because Nabisco's going to get really pissed off because they have a product and you can't do that because the product is on our. It's just turns into a labyrinth. So sometimes it's just like advertising gets involved. It's just like, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's where it
You're
gets.
You're
gonna fuck yourself. You're gonna get. You're gonna get sued. You're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
You're gonna and like that's what's so badass about.
And that's the other thing. Sorry, yeah.
No, please go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the other thing too. It's just like we know we're putting ourselves on the line, but we don't want other people to get fucked up. You know what I mean? We don't want to like have somebody like react in a way that's going to do themselves harm. So we kind of negotiate that in our minds as well, like while we're making up these pranks, and sometimes they're just completely stupid. But we always put ourselves on the line more than anybody that could be involved, and we consider like the possibilities of how people could react, and like, it's always you never know, but you try to like be as responsible as possible while you're being as responsible as you
Gotcha.
Can try to be.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then there's also that, like, there's sort of like when you're running pranks like that, there's this. I wrote on a prank show, and there's always this like weird like ethical consideration, not based on violence, but also just based on like Punked, for example. Some of those fucking pranks were just really just ridiculous. Like I threw a brick through your window and you got mad.
Yes.
It's like, well, yeah, no shit. Like,
right.
what's what's punked here? You threw a brick through somebody, or I don't know if that actually happened. You know what I mean? It's real.
Oh yeah, but they did variations on that theme of just like destroying somebody's car, and then the person comes on and goes,
I'm mad. I'm mad. And then I got you. You got mad. But you guys are doing this, like, what I love about it is you sort of woven woven into the prank this commentary on the modern times, on the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it is all about just people like record things instead of getting involved. And then the end of that mall bit, by the way, there's like another layered ending to it. So it doesn't just end with me fighting this old guy. Like, it plays itself out into this, like, I start crawling away, and it's really quiet in the mall because I'm just crawling away, and then I rip my shirt open, and then the elderly people run in, and they I guess it doesn't matter, I'll just spoil it, right?
Spoiler, guys, let's wait 30 seconds, guys. We're gonna, not 30 seconds, let's turn it off or skip forward or do something. Spoil.
And I rip my shirt open. I've just got like a layer of nipples, like, they run over and they start suckling from my nipples. So it's just like he's turning and turning, and their heads explode.
Bravo! Jesus Christ, that's so fucking good, man. That kind of, like, what would you call that? Like, if you weren't filming it, would you call that culture jamming? Have you ever heard that term?
Yeah. I remember people used to use that term. Yeah. And there's a lot like layered into why we do that stuff, and the whole suckling thing, and just I feel like
you don't need a reason, bud.
But there is, but it's just
like one.
The idea of just suckling. But yeah, it is, to me. It's like, and I think to Eric and other writers on the show, for sure, it's a combination of making these, like, maybe they're just like they feel like terribly academic sometimes, or they're like they're more esoteric, but they're like these kind of weird little statement pieces, but they're also just like art, it's just like it's street art. It's like,
but that's the idea, isn't it? It's like, it seems like I always feel bad with a podcast, with anything I'm putting out there, and I do it and it's embarrassing, but when I throw something out there that isn't funny, you know what I mean? When I get pissed at something, or even worse, like, I feel like I'm going to talk about meditation. You know what I mean? And I'm listening to myself doing something, and it's not, there's nothing in it that's like even remotely what you would call artistic, and certainly not funny. It's like scratching some weird itch inside of me to be like, let me teach you another thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you're sincere, like, it's the sincerity of it, and like turning people onto something, and a trust people have in you, right? And there's a reason people are drawn to you, so you make good work of that.
Well, sometimes, but sometimes there's the failure to me. What I'm saying is what you're like. So, like, you come up with a thing you want to say. Like, let's say you want to say, people really do seem to be ignoring the violence of the world by imagining they have control over it from filming it, or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And sure, you could say that. You could tweet that, and people are going to be like, yeah, I guess so. Or you make that the core of a hilarious, bizarre piece of art, and let them look at it and realize it themselves. Now you've actually accomplished something wonderful, because like it's you're demonstrating instead.
And you're giving them something that they, by and large, aren't going to experience again the following week, or possibly ever again. And they also, part of that labyrinth and all the trouble we went through to make that hidden camera bit was, we knew that people were going to be pissed off once their heads were going to kind of explode once the suckling started. They weren't going to know what to make of it. But I saw it demonstrated out loud, and like, people were like, "Oh shit, it wasn't a real." You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't really about to murder this old guy.
Oh, fuck.
I'm going to have to, like, I have a feeling like 90% of the people just, like, erase the footage on their phone. I'm like, I didn't get a murder.
There would be a comment for sure. It's like, that wasn't real. I can't believe I just had to watch a fake murder. Oh, my God. And that is, like, really, really the thing, isn't it? That's the thing, man. It's like, God damn it, what's that amazing... They redid it. It's an amazingly violent movie. Fuck. Oh, I just watched it with my wife. It's so fucked up. Anthony Jeselnik accidentally or intentionally named his tour after it. It's called... You know what I'm talking about? It's the two dudes end up going into like a house, and they end up like basically it's like just like they end. It's a home invasion movie. And, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, it's so good. It was like
Pretty Things.
No. God damn it.
No, not Pretty Things.
It's not Pretty Things. It's like that, though.
It's why am I not thinking of it either? It's just like two guys and they just go in and they have golf clubs and
that's
just
it.
Like, and it was based on a Scandinavian film.
That's it. I'll just like write down the time and stick it and like do like an interjection.
Guys, sit back while we try to remember this.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. That's fun to listen to.
Make yourself some cocoa. We're gonna try and remember the name of this thing.
If only we had something that like had all human information that we could
Funny
access.
games.
Funny games.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
funny games. And so you're watching this movie, and the brilliance of the movie is at first you're watching the movie, and you start getting mad at the dudes with the golf clubs who are torturing this family, right? And then one of them looks at the camera, right, and starts talking to you, and you realize, wait a minute, I'm the one watching this shit.
Yeah,
I'm the voyeur. I'm the one who's getting off on the fucking violence, and the brilliance of that is because sure you could really just say to people, hey guys, here's something.
Yeah,
you like it, like as George Carlin said, I like it when terrible things happen. You like it.
Yeah,
you pretend you don't like it. And you get really pious about it. But the reality is, Forensic Files, how many fucking seasons of Forensic Files are there?
Exactly.
How many seasons?
By the way, great mustaches on that show. I'm addicted. Every single person on that show, whether they're the perp or the cop, they have fucking great mustaches, dude. It's like the Mustache Hall of Fame.
I have actually had the thought flick, you know, like how thoughts will flicker across your mind before you can stop them, just like a bird flying out of some subterranean cavern in your heart, and you're like, oh my God, that lives in me.
That's beautiful.
But I had this fucking thought fly across watching Forensic Files after I'd seen every episode. I was like, man, they need to make more episodes.
Yeah.
Which means more people need to get violently murdered.
Right, exactly. For my pleasure. So I can
Yeah.
So I can like make cheese doodles or like eat cheese doodles and watch
it's hotel room. It's hotel room fare.
Yeah.
That's what it is when you're on vacation.
I noticed that about watching classic law, like the classic like Law and Order the classic like sweet spot in Law and Order, like kind of like the middle of them making that series for like 500 years, but like between year 300 and year 700 they had like, it's great, it's like Law and Order SVU is like it's terrible, it's like terrifying, it's just like it's like an excuse to like hear the word sperm come out of a child's mouth. Like, it's just like, it's just horrible on like on prime time. And I mean, acting and plot aside, but I mean, at the core, that's kind of what people are just gravitated to, this gruesome nature of the show. And I was watching it one day, and I was like, it's the same thing when you talk about Forensic Files. I'm watching it, and then in my mind, I'm like, I turn into the worst piece of shit in the world. I'm almost like, I wouldn't have put the kid's body there. I would have taken it up to. And I'm like, oh, cool, I've murdered a child, and I'm fucking scolding this dude for where he hid the body. It's like, I wouldn't have taken the body. I would have like chopped it into 5. Wait, whoa.
Yeah. What an idiot, right? I can't believe he did that. Are you kidding? Like, that seems like the most obvious mistake.
I would have dealt with that kid's body way better than that.
I mean, it's a child's body. Like, you could invest in an ice chest that will easily fit a child's body.
You know how much land there is that people wouldn't even look at. It's like, oh my God. But I mean, that's what people like. We're getting so dark, but it's just like, I mean, that's the reason why people are just like watching any sort of like. That's the reason why car chases are on the news for like an hour and a half. That's the reason why they're just like, people just love waiting to find out where they're going to find the body.
Well,
like,
yeah.
And it's like those kids that were in the cave, right? Like, I'm just like, how many people are just like wanting to see how this turns into the darkest thing in the world?
When they just all suffocate, like
exactly. It's just like, oh, I hope they have cameras down there for that part.
Or fuck, man. I mean, obviously, like someone is definitely gonna. That is that thing right there. That could so easily turn into the coolest fucking horror movie ever.
Yes.
Which is like the fucking kids, like right as they're getting rescued, there's some shit in the cave.
Yeah.
Starts fucking with him, but they got out, thank God. But the
Well, we can still hope that they have something inside of them from the cave that's going to come out in the hospital.
Holy fuck, that's what it is. It starts off as a movie about a cave rescue and turns into these
Yes.
little Thai kids with their eyeballs exploding and scorpion things crawling out.
Yeah, they're like patient zeros. They're like the Trojan horses. Are you listening, Hollywood?
Guys, make this fucking movie,
Make
man.
us make this movie.
Yeah, that's it, and we'll make money off of fame.
You're on Duncan Trussell's pitch. You ready?
But man, this is where it gets, to me, where it gets really, really interesting is that, like, as a person is being violently murdered, there is some percentage chance that if the murder is interesting enough or just lands on the radar of forensic files,
Yeah.
then that murder is going to be turned into money. That's the thing, is that murders are being harvested for cash. Like, that's the...
Well, and you notice how now people are just prepped to be on the show to talk about, like, the murders, too. Like, I have a feeling you'd probably have to, like, really there'd be some form of effort whenever ago to, like, have somebody sit down and calmly talk about, like,
Right.
how their friend got murdered and all of, like, the red flags and, like,
Right.
with their hair done and
Right, makeup.
on and, like...
Hair and makeup.
Hair and makeup.
Okay, Cynthia, do you want some powder before you talk about your daughter being brutally chopped to pieces
Can you
in
just
the
go?
forest?
All right, we're just gonna go that through one more time. We just need you to say a little less. Okay?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's just talk about your daughter being murdered. And action.
And a producer,
Oh, okay.
a producer's watching, and when they start crying, the producer's like, yes, yes, they're crying.
And then I was watching one where somebody, it was like John Quijones or somebody, and they were just like egging each other on. It's just like, so that must have been weird. It's like, oh my God, totally weird. It's like, you must have been like, what's going on? It's like, I was totally like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And they're like talking about their best friend being murdered. I'm like, oh lordy.
It's absurdity. It really
Taken
is.
quite a turn.
It's fucking crazy. But it seems like your show, mostly for millennials, it seems like it's like
It's a comedy.
it's a comedy, but it does seem to be like, as I was researching this, it does seem like you're making a commentary on sort of the exploitation by corporations of a specific demographic.
It's like seeing it through the prism of corporate. It's like, it's generational. It's like people always want to know what the kids are doing, you know, like every generation has that, and it's like from the people who are like out of touch, but they want to make money off of it. They have to market to it. They have to do whatever. They have to keep the machine running. They have to keep, so it's like, it's like this clueless pandering attempt to be cool, all combined with just like this like ethically and morally unhinged host who's like a narcissist, and a crowd that's like bloodthirsty. Like the crowd, the audience is the audience, you know? It's just like this bloodthirsty audience. It's like when I come out and go like, should I chop my head off? You know, they're like, yeah, do it. And they have their phones out, you know, everybody wants to.
Where'd you come up with that idea to make the audience bloodthirsty like that? When did that pop into your head?
I just thought it would be, I thought it would be, it's a great way to have the audience be active, and kind of just like, because it's the whole, the premise of, or, you know, one of the central kind of points of the show is like how primal everything is, right? And like how, so the audience is like just like this crowd of id, you know, like,
right.
And they, you know, it's like a bloodthirsty kind of Maury Povich audience kind of, so it's just like they on cue they're like, oh, you know, and then when something is about to go down they're like, blood,
yeah.
And then when they, you know, they worship me in a weird way, but they also get they worship me, but they deify me, but they also get confused by me, right? Like,
Right.
So that aspect of it to me is just like the cultishness of things. So it's like we've created our own little hermit kingdom.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah.
it's just like it's anytime you watch anything about a cult, you know that there's definitely those days where probably a larger percentage than not is scratching their head going, what was she talking about today? I'm not. What don't worry. There's a reason for what happened today.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's also a response and like a mirror to what's going on in the world and our politics. I just think people are like, don't worry. There's a reason he's doing that, and it's just like,
yeah,
no, there's not actually.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's the illusion.
It's a lot of fun.
It's so fun, man, but it's terrifying.
It's terrifying
because what we've done, what we managed to do here, is create this kind of illusion that there are certain infallible people on planet Earth.
Yeah,
like,
we need to.
Do you think we need to?
I think we need to feel that way. I think it's like ego. I think it's just like, I need to feel that way because that I've decided that person is here to represent me. Therefore, when they do something, it's me doing it, and I would do the best things in the world, or whatever. You know, it's just like I would, because I've decided to put, you know, my like to basically endorse this behavior or this person. What they do is reflective of my decision. Therefore, I cannot allow there to be any cracks in the mirror. It's just like, this is all fun. This is going to be fun. And I think it's like very ego-driven. I think that everything that we're doing now and exactly what we're talking about, like just people like documenting themselves and being their own brands and all the hellish things that we even have to do. It's just like, I think when that takes over, that's what happens. It's just everybody becomes like monolithically narcissistic. I don't know.
That's a beautiful way to put it, and it's so sad when it happens. If you like, I just rewatched Grizzly Man. Have you seen that in a while? Mm-hmm. Grizzly Man.
Yeah.
And you know, this is this dude who's like, on one level, seems to be really, really sweet, attuned to nature. Foxes follow him around. He's obviously got some like serious fucking issues he's working through, but his like main like MO is, I'm here to protect these bears.
Yeah.
But if he'd never gone out there, then like he ended up like 2 bears ended up getting killed because of him. Like bears ended up getting killed because of him. And like in his intended effect, it had the opposite effect, because the reality as you're watching it is like, he really believes this shit. It's not like he's evil, but the reality of it is, by going into this place and turning himself into a hero, he has actually become the thing that he was apparently fighting against, the classic problem.
Yeah.
But on top of that, there's, you know, that wonderful part where Werner Herzog listens to the footage of him being eaten by a bear, because he left the lens cap on. Mm-hmm. But the no one mentions once in this scene that as a bear was coming into his tent to attack him and his girlfriend, he took a moment to turn his fucking camera on.
Right.
You know, like you're about to get eaten.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, oh shit, I gotta get this on tape. And then he's like recording himself being devoured by a wild animal. Like maybe in that millisecond of trying to decide what to do, the order of priorities should be get away from the bear.
Right.
First.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But his order of priorities was film being eaten by the fucking bear. And so so what you're talking about is just this very thing, which is that it's like, man, we all want to be fucking heroes, of course, and it's a beautiful desire. I mean, it's good to save people and to save the world.
Yeah.
But it seems like the order of priorities is that, but before we become the heroes, let's get the fucking cameras rolling and then do the heroic act.
Yeah. And then it's also like, let's make sure that when we're doing the heroic act, it catches my good side. Like it still comes back to ourselves.
Oh, that's right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, that's
being
right.
central to it.
Dude, fuck, my bald spot really showed it up when I was saving that kid. Is there, guys, is there any way...
another angle of me saving that kid?
There's got to be a better angle than that, man. Shit, I'm getting fucking fat, man.
Can we just concentrate on the me not nobody seeing my balls? Yeah, like the kid becomes secondary after a while.
Isn't that wild, dude? Isn't that wild? I just went to... I know, man. It's really... I mean, listen... every one of us is guilty of this in some way or another.
Yeah, I think this is just a brand new mirror that's come off of the assembly line that's showing us in like it's just a different reflective nature. I think this stuff is always in us. I just think this is like a new mirror off the assembly line that has a different reflective quality, and we're like, oh shit, from this angle, we're also pretty terrible.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of like comeuppance with in general that we all need to like be. I think it starts with like if we're being hard on like people in the media, or we're being hard on or whoever it is for being infallible or not being infallible, then guaranteed that's got to be a reflection of us being hard on ourselves, right? Like,
yeah.
The idea is like we're fallible, human, greedy, egocentric, self-interested because we are fucking descended from monkeys.
Yeah, well, and I think it's just like people. It's just like people will find. Sometimes people will just find their reason to be angry at other people, and that's manifested because their dad was just a drunk who screamed at them all the time. That's right. And it's just like, really, do your fucking daddy issues have to like affect people's lives in such a terrible way? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you're angry at your dad by vilifying this group of people or whatever. Yeah. And there's so many ding dongs out there like that, and it's just like, why are you doing this? Oh, because there's this dark little hole inside of you that cannot be filled.
Well, that's where, and the problem is
and that's me. And that person is me.
Me too. Wait, no, it's fucking me, motherfucker. It's just me, not you. You're fine. I'm the fucker. And this is exactly it, man. And the problem with what you just said, for me, and I think for a lot of people, is that the moment when you summon the asshole that you hate most into your mind, and zoom backwards in time, and inevitably you're going to find some sweet kid who's getting the shit kicked out of them by something. Yeah. You know? And it's
a lot of the time.
A lot of the time. Maybe not all the time. Yeah. But a lot of the time. And the moment you realize that, now it's like, motherfucker, I can't hate you at the level I'd like to because I've humanized you. Yeah. It's like,
I don't know if it's absolutely analogous to this, but it's like, I guess it's what I'm trying to say is it's just that it is just that simple sometimes. Like I remember, you talk to like a cop who's like a detective or something, and it's just like, well, so you guys like what, like you think of things in terms. TV becomes our documentary series, right? Like that's the way we start approaching life, like these TV shows, like SVU is a documentary. So it's like, I guess you get some like. Somebody calls in with a tip or something, or like you notice that the guy's got some blood on his shirt, and you just kind of track him down, follow him around, and the cops are just like, no, dude. Usually what it is somebody got murdered. You ask their girlfriend or their boyfriend or whoever, hey, was somebody mad at them? Yeah, this guy at his job said he hated him. Go to the job. The guy's there. Did you kill him? Yes. Case closed. Like he said, it's usually that. Like,
it's not mysterious.
It's not mysterious. It's
human nature is not some kind of mystical.
It's not like
kaleidoscope.
And that's exactly what I think. That's what we need to think about ourselves, is that we are that capable of engineering this like dynamic like outcome to things, where in fact it's just like like the way we achieve things sometimes is just like we're sniffing our fingers after scratching our groin, you know? It's yeah. That's the process involved. It's just like, it's just this. It's like but we need to feel like through leaders or whoever the hell that we're yeah, that's right. This is how good I am too, or whatever the hell. And it's just like,
yeah. It's like kind of like we're looking for a tuning fork. We're all looking for a fucking tuning fork, man. That's what we want really bad, and we need one. And if we had a great tuning fork, which is what a really great leader could be. I mean, on the grand scheme of scale, it seems a little insane or a lot insane to imagine that one fucking dude can tune an entire country of millions of people. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that I guess it keeps us from inevitably sinking into that place that we all know that we can easily achieve, which is just like absolute chaos. Absolute, like left to our own volition, just a mess, right? Well, so it's just like we need this like central character, right? To be our mouthpiece or whatever the hell the person's supposed to be. But it's just like, the descent into it is so insane. But then you look at the alternative, and I just think it'd just be like an absolute descent into madness.
Talk about,
but we're doing that. I think.
Let's talk about that. I want you to explain that to me, because that is so like the one of the, I think, if I wanted to control a huge group of people, one of the first things I'd want to get into their heads is that if they were not controlled, they would descend into madness.
Right? Yeah.
That's like a really useful thing to tell people is like, hey, without me, you guys are going to go absolutely fucking nuts. You're going to start stabbing each other. Trust me. You need the dude with the suit and the nuclear arsenal, or this fucking humanity thing. Oh, man, you're just going to go nuts.
Yeah, we need this. I'm like the best brand of glue that you could possibly.
I'm holding it
all together, baby.
Yeah.
And like you, so it's just like, I think it's just like we revert, like you watch movies about, I love movies about the president of the United States when they're like always making decisions. Like the president's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this. And it's like, Mr. President, the president said we're going to do that. And they make these like insane decisions or like that are for the betterment of the world. Like they're the hero figure, but they'll just like make these amazing, decisions immediately. And I think that's what people still think that like presidents and world leaders are like they're in an office and they're like, no, we're not doing it that way anymore. We're doing it this way because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
And then nobody objects to it. Everybody goes like, supreme leader. Like it's very supreme leader.
Very. Yeah, very. And very like just definitely not how it happens. And we have no idea what fucking goes on up there. But I think it's like a really important thing to think about, and which is it the human tendency to descend into madness if they're not being lied to by a charismatic leader? Because if that's the case, I think it's a pretty dire prognosis for our species. And a lot of people, anarchists in particular, say, actually that is a intentional bit of conditioning that has been going on for a very long time, and usually they'll cite things such as disasters. Like whenever a disaster happens and like there are no like cops and there are no presidents and there temporarily isn't a government, there's just rubble everywhere. You'll notice that it doesn't descend into madness, rather it actually seems to ascend into some kind of like very temporary form of socialism, which is that people come out of their houses and start digging people out of rubble, or bring people into their houses, or give people water, or go out in boats and take people out of their houses. And then you realize like, wait, hold on a fucking second here. Maybe that's our tendency. It's just that tendency is being subverted by putting one dude in place in a place where it should be like, I don't know, smaller groups of like tribes or communities. I think that's that's a hopeful way of looking at it. I think that maybe it's naive. I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't know either. I just I don't think there's any reason to fear that possibility. I just wonder if it's like that's where we're at. It's like we just need we need something to hammer us over the head so hard, like a disaster that just does not have any favorites. So we realize that we're all at the mercy of this event, and it takes something that powerful and that like unconditionally, essentially like it just doesn't give a fuck who you are. It's just it's gonna affect you in a negative way. It takes that amount of sorry, let me start again. It takes something that like intense to make us feel empathetic, because now the shoe is collectively on all of our other feet. Like now we're all those people,
right?
Right? Like we're all of those people. We're all, pretty much fucked all at once,
right?
So we don't have time to like have to like place some sort of bullshit order of like who is superior and who is like more deserving of something or whatever it is that we like to do when we have our spare time. By the way, we go to grocery stores and we eat and we sit in chairs all day, so now we've just become like this. Everybody's like in their own version of Rome. Everybody's just sitting with in their togas going like, those people are stupid. Those people shouldn't come into the country. Those people, you know what I mean? Like we're all our own little Neros. So it takes like an earthquake or a natural disaster, or a fucking like tornado to rip an entire community to pieces, so that people are just like actually just brought down to the same level, and then it's just like I have no choice but to like actually look at this person who I was judging last week and help them out of this rubble.
Exactly. I mean, this is one of the. This is.
Sorry, that was a super long-winded.
Beautifully said, though, man. It's just like the thing is like clearly we're out of tune, and it's like certainly one of the like great tuning forks is catastrophe. If there ever was like a wonderful tuning fork to what a human being is, it's a fucking disaster. And then you'll see like, man, people fucking die for people they don't know. They jump into lakes and pull kids out for no, and they don't even think about it. They just instinctually, naturally fucking do it. And like, it sucks, man. That's a shitty fucking tuning fork. There's all kinds of tuning fork. It's called hitting bottom. Right? Hitting bottom. That's what alcoholics and drug addicts, they have to like get to the point where they're like, they're like getting fucking fisted by some dude under a bridge while like sucking a horse's dick just to get like 75 cents to buy like a little fucking crystal fucking. I
don't know why that just turned into a postcard for a city.
That's my hitting bottom story. Literally. That's when I knew I had to stop playing World of Warcraft.
The worst postcard in the world. Come visit Hitting Bottom, Tennessee.
But you know, man, when that like for a lot, like most, like to bring it. The problem is like also I tend to project onto the entire planet or onto the huge swaths of populations I've never fucking met a personality and a motivation and an intention, and the whole time I'm just sort of like ignoring myself.
Right.
But I know that in general, when I slam into the wall of my own identity, not just like in my own mind, but when like something happens where I'm like, whoa, wow, I fucked up. That was a big mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Holy shit. I hurt somebody's, I fucked up. Then that's when like I evolve. Like, dude, once I snuck out of a, I was working at a summer camp as a camp counselor, and I snuck out because my friends were having like a keg party up in the mountains. Yeah. And I went with like 2 counselors in training. I'm in my fucking like car driving down the fucking, it's raining. I'm in North Carolina driving around these crazy roads. I guess my idea was I'll just go get fucking hammered at this kegger. I think it was like an hour and a half away from the camp. Drive back to camp by the morning and then like take care of kids.
Right.
It's just, like I can't think of anything more fucking irresponsible and horrible and stupid.
Yeah.
And like I'm driving down this fucking road and like right in front of me, man, like because it was foggy and it's like the fog clears just enough time for me to see one of those big yellow sharp turn signs, which I'm slamming into. I hit it. The car fucking flips. Breaking glass. I'm upside down in the car. The radio is playing, I think it's Cream. In the white room with black curtains by the station, right? In the back seat of the car are two, I think one of them's 17, one of them's maybe 18. I don't know their age, but in that moment, I'm looking forward. There's a moment where I don't know when I turn around what the fuck I'm going to see.
Yeah.
And those kids could have broken their necks. They could have gotten, a million things because of my selfishness could have happened to those fucking kids. But I turned around. The kids were fucking okay. Thank God. And where it was real,
high fiving. Let's do it again.
It's just more of like in that quiet, in that silence.
Yeah.
After glass breaks and the radio's playing and the car's upside down, you're living in truth, man, and that's a great fucking tuning fork. It's a great tuning fork,
and it's such a great way to put it. Like that tuning fork, that note that you hit at that moment, you have to remember it as long as you can. Like you have to like use that moment, as terrifying as it was, instead of. I mean, of course, you don't want to wake up everyone and go like, oh yeah, I did that. But that feeling, that moment, that realization of how just like absolutely corruptible we can be in our decisions.
Yeah.
And knowing that, like I think that's what comedy is too. Like you have to know that you're a scumbag. Like you have to know that you're not perfect. You have to know that you don't have all the answers. You have to know that like you would be a shitty cult leader. You have to know these things about yourself.
Yeah.
And like be able to go like, no, I get it. I suck too. Like I suck. I do. I suck too. But I because I know that, I try not to suck. Right, so it's like
just get it out there is the main thing.
Yeah,
man. Like that's the I think
and that moment that you're describing is just like so important to like harness.
Well, see, in that moment, a cult leader would have turned around and looked at the living people in the back seat and said,
"See,
God saved us.
Yeah,
we surely should have died.
See what I just showed you?
Yeah, I showed you the truth." Do you see what I've taught you?
Yeah.
That's like, and that is the problem. It's because our fucking leaders, they're slamming their fucking, they're driving, we're in the back seat of a fucking bus being driven by very fallible, greedy people. And they're crashing the bus. And when they crash the bus, instead of turning around and being like, guys, I'm not that great at driving this fucking bus. They're saying, I'm the best bus driver that ever fucking lived.
Yeah.
And people are hearing that and being like, I guess they're good at driving the fucking bus. They've got a plan. This is the problem. It's like they'll another version of that will be them going like, if you have the nerve to like go like, what the fuck what just happened? I can't believe this. It's just, their version of reality be like, well, nobody put a gun to your head, motherfucker. You got into the car with me. Yeah,
you
decided to go to the party. You should have known I was going to wreck.
You should have known
car.
somehow.
Look at me. Do I look like I can fucking drive? Do I look like a safe person to you? This is your fault, dumbass. Yeah. And where it gets really depressingly sad is that the mentality of a victim. I've just been listening to this fucking great book called Hallelujah Anyway by Annie Lamont. God damn, it's good. And it is this like concise breakdown of what it's like to grow up in a dysfunctional, toxic family for a kid. And what it's like is you've got a fucking alcoholic parent or whatever. You got a crazy parent, right?
Yeah.
And it's easier for a kid with a crazy parent to believe they're the ones causing the problems, because then they can imagine that they're still in control, than it is to like recognize that the fucking crazy parent is crazy because they're the ones who taught you how to talk. They're the ones who taught you like who told you the name of the thing in the sky is the sun. And if you suddenly realize like, wait a minute, there's a big distortion in that person's reality field, then that's very unnerving, because it's like, wait, if their reality is distorted to the level where they think it makes sense to go withdraw like, $10,000 from the bank account and spend it in Vegas and then come back drunk and punch the fuck out of my aunt in front of my brother or whatever it may be, then what else have they put in me that's distorted? My reality field must be distorted, right? So we're having this like experience where a victim would much rather think they're like a person would rather think they're to blame than to realize like, wait a minute, it isn't my fault. It's the abuser, the fucking oppressor, the whatever, and they know that. People know that shit. That's where it gets really scary, because for the goddamn oppressor or whoever who's doing the fucking vile, shitty thing, look, I don't know. Let me ask you, and I'm sorry if it's like too personal a question, but have you ever gotten drunk and done something stupid that you regretted the next day?
Yeah, it's the same thing as like doing something stupid where you're just like, you get behind the wheel of a car, or you...
But personally, have you ever like gotten hammered and then like done some stupid thing where like the next day you wake up? Are you a drinker?
Yeah, I used to like drink more than I should have, for sure. And I've just been like, no, that's not a great road to go down. It's an easy road to go down because it's fun, and it's everybody around you enables it because they're doing it too. But like countless times I've woken up going like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I remember once I did this to myself, but like I walked out of, I was hammered, and I was at a barn party, and I was climbing up this, like through this barn with a friend, and we got into a fight with some dude because we were hammered, like got into a fist fight. And then I was like walking out of the barn, like to go outside, like just all pissed off and like, what the fuck? And I was on the second level of the barn, thinking I was on the ground level. And I walked out, and I fell like an entire story onto a pile of hay.
Fuck.
Which is like just, and then I got up and I staggered away from it. And the next day, the guy whose farm it was just like, the only reason that hay is there is because my tractor broke down. Like the kid's dad, he's like, the tractor broke down that day, and like I had to like take the bales off so I could get and unhitch the thing and and take the tractor away. And I was just like, cool. I got into like a stupid fist fight with some dude, like just like was punching some guy, and then walked out all pissed off, and basically like killed myself. You know, so it's a combination of like did something stupid and then did something even stupider to myself, potentially.
Right.
And it was just like,
and it happened because you were fucking hammered. Yeah. Right. And you were.
So I'm just being a dummy.
You're right. You got drunk and you were being a dummy, and that's why it happened. And for some reason, some people, when the exact thing happens to them, they think to themselves, that motherfucker in the fucking that I got in a fight with, it's his fucking fault. Yeah. That son of a bitch. Yeah. Because it's so much easier for like a chronic alcoholic to imagine that there's a reason that they're acting crazy. But it's really a lot more like if you had to choose between being like full blown insane or doing shit for a reason, you're going to pick doing shit for a reason, right? Yeah. So these fucking shitty parents, man, what's happening is when they fucking smack their kids around when they're super fucking hammered and the kid's like, I spilled the milk, I shouldn't have spilled the milk. They're like, yeah. You shouldn't have spilled the fucking milk because you made daddy smack you. Yeah. And because it's harder for them to be like, wait, man, I'm hitting kids. I'm fucked. It's
the whole like, that look what you made me do to you.
Yeah.
It's that whole kind of like psychology. It was like, see what you made me do now?
Yeah, dude. And
like that movie Chopper, that Australian movie about the guy, the biker from Australia that's just like a national hero. But in the movie, there's like a brutal scene like that where he's like beating his girlfriend, and like punches her mother. And then the first thing comes out of his mouth is like, See what you made me do to you?
Yeah.
And it's just like such a chilling moment. You're just like, oh my God.
Fucking chilling. And then when you like, one of the things Carl Jung says that's really creepy is the collective shadow of a society gets projected into their government. And when you realize that every single fucking war the United States has been involved in follows a very similar pattern, which is that the United States has been at war for 93% of its history, man. And every time we go to fucking war, we're always like, see what you did.
Yeah,
see what you did to us.
Yeah.
See what you made us do. You made us fucking launch fucking missiles against you and drop bombs on you and kill all these fucking civilians. Don't you see what you did?
Yeah.
And the people in the country are like, dude, I sell fucking mats. I'm a mat salesman.
Yeah.
I'm a mat salesman, and I watched my fucking kid get exploded by a fucking bomb dropped out of a goddamn remote-controlled fucking spaceship thing. I didn't do shit, man. And that, I think, is like in the same way that a fucking drunk has to come to Jesus, so to speak, and be like, I've got a fucking problem. I'm fucking hooked on booze.
Yeah.
The United States can't seem to realize, I think maybe I've got a little bit of a war addiction going on here.
Yeah, and it's just like it's the migrant crisis. It's just like those same people who are just like, last year I was just like hanging out with my family. Now I'm like trying to I'm trying to get the fuck out of this place that's been reduced to rubble, like literally been reduced to rubble. There's nothing. There's no what. Like when people can't. When your electricity goes off in North America in like a major city and you have like a fairly decent lifestyle, your electricity goes off or your water doesn't work, how fast do we fucking go to our fucking phones and go call up whoever and go like, my fucking water's been out for 3 hours?
Yeah, pissed.
It's like we can't take a shower before work. The world has ended. If the electricity's out for like 2 days, it's like, what the fuck? It's unsustainable in our minds.
Yes.
Like, we lose our shit. Someone's got to pay for this. This is insane. And you like, when it becomes protracted and it's like 6 months of that shit, a year of that shit, you're shitting in rubble, literally shitting in rubble. You're drinking fucking disgusting water. I think I want to get out of here. What you do is because suddenly it's just like, what, you're leaving your place? Why are you coming over here for? It's just like, well, I'm a human being and I don't really see myself as lesser than you, so I'm trying to ask you if I can crash at your house for a while.
Yeah.
Start a new life.
Yeah.
Because you kind of helped burn my fucking house down.
Yeah.
You have to, because you don't want to deal with it. It's like the alcoholic's way or whatever. Like, just perfectly what you're saying is just like, it's their fault.
Well,
you know what? You know what's going on. Some of the people among you don't have good feelings toward me, so none of you can come in.
That's right. One of you might be a terrorist.
It's like, cool, really?
One of you might be angry because we've been dropping bombs on your fucking country, which is why you're coming.
One of you might be angry or crazy because we don't have any angry or crazy people here.
Yeah, dude. And so now when you slam into that wall, because it's really frustrating because it's like, fuck, man. Like, honest to Christ, like, I think if you could and if I could, like, we would like try to fix the problem. But honest to God, man, imagine right now if like all of a sudden the walls, talk about like a great prank show. 2 fucking assholes yapping about the immigration crisis, right? Get like put into a universe. Let's put 2 assholes in a warring universe and get them talking about how we got to do something about immigration. Yeah. And then the walls drop. Some kind of reptilian being in a robe comes out, gives us the crystal of power, and is like, there you go.
Yeah, fix it. Like, what?
What the fuck are you gonna do?
Wait, I'm in my toga. I'm just like,
wait a minute.
I'm here to judge people. I don't know how to actualize anything.
Dude, I want to play music on my modular synths. I don't want to solve the fucking immigration crisis.
I gotta check my IG hits, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and right there, man, that's where we fucking slam into the goddamn fucking wall, right fucking there. And it's like, what the fuck do we do? I mean, really, what we got a certain amount of stuff, And most of the stuff is in the hands of a very small amount of fucking people. And those people's, they don't want to give it away. And taking it from them seems pretty fucking unethical. So if the concept is that like they've earned it, or that stealing is bad, or that, and now we've got people who really legitimately want to destroy the United States, but then mixed among them are people who have children who desperately need a fucking bowl of soup and a place to sleep, and then in the fucking people who are pissed at us because we've been dropping bombs at them know that there are people over here who want to give kids bowls of soup, so they know, like, shit, man, we can use that to get shit in there to get revenge because these motherfuckers blew up my grandmother when I was trying to sell mats. And now it's like this super complex, crazy fucking problem. And what's the answer? Take out your phone and fucking film it and go to bed, take some sleeping pills and forget it, I guess. Right?
I think it's like, I think we just become like retreating warriors. Like, we just retreat. We, like, everything around us now allows us to, like, act like we're doing something, but we actually get to retreat, right? So it's just kind of like, I'm showing up for war. Kind of. I'm just like on my phone tweeting this thing because it's wrong. It's just like, I'm a warrior. Not really, though, because I'm just like, I get to retreat into my phone. I'm not gonna.
What do we do?
I don't want to get my hands dirty.
How do we not retreat? Like, there's got to be, like, I love thinking about, like, not like bullshit.
I mean, I think like part of it, I agree. Yeah, it's so frustrating because I think that villainizing people for showing up en masse to like to say this is wrong, or to vocalize their displeasure with what the government's doing. That's becoming villainized, you know. So like any form of like direct action is becoming villainized, and that's the dangerous thing. Like, don't fall into that trap. Like, don't think that. And sometimes it's people you don't agree with, but like, it's better for people to show up and say something than be scolded into retreat. And be the lesson that's learned universally is like, don't show up, don't say anything. Right. We're gonna label you a this or a that if you do. And the building blocks have started for that. Like, people are, you know, the fact that we call each other names because people show up to be angry about something is pretty disgusting. You know, it's just like, and it's being fostered, and it's being regionalized like shitty sports teams. So now politics is just like, it's the Cougars versus the, you know, the mountain, whatever the hell, my shitty sports, my shitty, me too. My shitty sports teams, Cougars versus the
Archons, the Archons of France,
the marsupials versus the mammals. Anyways, but yeah, you know what I mean. So it's just like, holy shit, this isn't sports, dude. It's like, you can't just. That's the thing about like just even like political jerseys. They don't fit well on me.
No,
political jerseys just do not fit well. I cannot put on a single team's jersey and go like, perfect in all ways. Dude, never taking this off. Not even going to take it off to wash it. Just going to wear it forever.
Yeah, I'm going to be this fucking thing forever. And that's the other problem is like when you do take a strong stance on any issue, you people will like be like, but you said that back then, right? And and it's like, and the problem is like, well, fuck, you know, you're right. I did say that, and I was fucking wrong. I was wrong. And dude, the thing you're talking about is like, sometimes, man, I'll look at people's like tweets, and they're pissed off about this or that, and they've tweeted like a big fat fucking tweet of like rage, and I'll be like, God damn it, like whatever, like you don't mean that, or I don't know. And I've caught myself doing that. And it's so hypocritical because I will tell you a tweet that I'm deeply embarrassed and ashamed of. And I tweeted a long time ago, and I look back at that tweet, and I really was like, I was really fucking upset, man. And it was, I think it was during one of our mini wars. No, it was like Israel was attacking Palestine. And I tweeted, it's so fucking sanctimonious, dude. I tweeted, I'm against anyone. It's something like, I'm against anyone who kills kids. Ugh. Just nauseatingly like obvious and nauseatingly pious, and just not like, yeah, really? Wow, you're unique, huh? Holy shit, that's a fucking unique position, Duncan. Hold on, let me get this straight. You don't like it when people kill kids? I want to like really like talk to you about that.
Are you sure you want to go on the record saying fire is hot?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. But I fucking.
But yeah, I get it though. I
was upset. I didn't want the fucking kids to get killed in that moment, but also on top of that, and this is to me where it's like I shouldn't be shaming myself, because I think ultimately, if you are doing anything that is even like 10% towards to reducing suffering on planet Earth, then that is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Even if 90% of the time after you do the thing, you're going back to look at how many retweets you got.
Yeah.
How many faves you got. How many whatever. It's still good. I just think that like that we all got to realize this is a brand new technology. And if we can all tune ourselves in a way that we can start using it so that when we like do come out and say something, it's more effective at reducing suffering than increasing panic and fear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like
it's like we teach ourselves lessons about like we gotta, you know, again, if it's like immediately, if it's we're so horrible. If it's like self-gratifying and it has something to do with us, it's like people will teach themselves that a little bit helps if it comes to going to the gym to get that perfect six-pack ab.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like, just do it. Just chip away at it, dude. Just do it. You can get there. You can get to that six-pack ab. And people are like, you know what? That's a great way to look at it. But they cannot use that same... They can't use that same logic, that same critical thinking, and apply it to other things. Just chip like help give the world some fucking six-pack abs. Yeah. Like just chip away at things. And like, you know, I mean, everybody has their own version of six-pack abs, I guess, but fuck it, just chip away at it. I mean, I honestly think that like people who want to do heinous things that actually don't have the betterment of society or you know, just like the world, it goes back to those are the moments that I think become exactly what we were talking about in terms of like a natural disaster happening and people just coming together and going like, no, we're better than this.
Yeah.
And we have to bank on that in terms of human nature, because you can't teach that. You can't enforce it. You can't. You can instill it through like trying to have your better angels come forward and things like that. But I mean, like ultimately, you can't just like staple that on somebody's chest and it's just like, now you're, you know, going to do the right thing. It's just like, I think that everybody's, even the people with darker points of view, after a while, when you see that that's one of the alternatives, people are just going to be like, that's not going to work, dude. And I also see that working against me one day. Like, you know, if there's ever a good time to be selfish, it's when you put yourself in other people's shoes and go like, I don't want that to happen to me. You know, like if you're going to be selfish about something, use it that way. Like that's not
brilliant.
What I want for myself.
I wouldn't want that ever. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Use your selfishness.
Yeah,
you can use it as a tool.
Yeah, use it as a tool.
Whoa, you're like, it's like some kind of new selfishness judo. Like you can like use it. Fuck, dude, there's the next book. It's like using your selfishness to bring world peace.
Yeah. Give the world some six-pack abs through selfishness. Fuck it. Just get there.
Mr. Beckles, where can people find you online?
This is what I'm actually here for. Fuck the world. I'm at TV Carnage. Those are my handles on the internet, on the Twitter and on the Instagram.
Where can we watch your show?
It is on Adult Swim on Sunday nights at midnight. And it's something that I'm very happy and proud that we got to make. It's I think it's a important piece.
It's fucking awesome, man. It's awesome. Good job.
Thank
it's
you, man.
Hilarious.
Thank you.
It's artistic.
I want to thank everybody who wrote on the show, and of course Eric, and like it's great. I couldn't be happier, and all through its absurdity and its insanity and whatever points it's trying to make, it also gives me hope that can be created and put out there, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's incredible to watch TV these days, and particularly shows like yours, and just be like, whoa, they're like, well, it's Adult Swim, so they're hyper advanced.
It helps,
but still, it's like, holy fucking shit, man, they're letting this stuff out.
Yeah,
it's a great sign.
Yeah, it is a good sign. It's just like it is. We're like a lot of the shows on Adult Swim, particularly, they really are, I think, kind of marching up the hill ahead of a lot of. There's a lot of people who want to do the same sort of thing, and other networks won't enable them to do it. So I'm happy.
Yeah, man, I'm glad that you're on there.
Yeah.
And thanks so much, man. Just like
Thank
it sounds
you.
cheesy, but thanks for making us laugh. We're so
I
fucking
hope
long,
so.
man.
We really got in there.
I don't mean in the podcast. I mean
in the world,
in the fucking art you're putting out in the world.
Thank
It's
you.
beautiful. I really appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. That was Derrick Beckles, everybody. Check out his show, Mostly for Millennials. All the links you need to get to Derrick will be at duncantrussell.com.